And we're live on the Browns Report. Welcome in, everybody. Here we are on a lovely Wednesday afternoon, per usual. Welcome in. Let's talk some Browns football. Lots to get to today. How's Cleveland going to address this wide receiver left tackle need, right? We've got mock drafts from the experts we're going to look at, trade rumors, all of the above, folks. Shout out my guy AFX, who got the party started right away with a $2 super chat. And let's get this chat going. Everybody, comment. Where are you tuning in from? Shout out your city in that comment section. Let me know down below where you're watching from, where you are across the globe, across the nation. That is right. You can shout out your city in that comment section. Get it down below. You can push that, Parker. Shout out your city. Here we go. Kyle is in Ohio. Ashland. There we go. There we go. I see lots of Ohio. Oh, AJ in Dayton. You got some games in Dayton tonight, don't you? A little first four action, am I right? I see a couple Ohios. I love it. Oh, we got Jeannie in Michigan, though. Canton, Virginia Beach. Com in Columbus, it looks like. Lando in Germany. Jarp is in Lorain, Ohio. There we go. Somebody in Cleveland. We got Youngstown, Ohio for Jerry. Look at this. I love it. I love it. From Cleveland in Rochester, New York. Hey, that's pretty cool. London, Ohio. Pittsburgh, but go Dogs. Okay, we'll take it. Atlanta, Georgia for Michael. There we go. Keep shouting out your city. Shout out where you are tuning in from. And we could go to AFX, a super chat as well. That came in, the $2 super chat to get the party going. If you guys want to party hard with us today, show your support like AFX is doing with a $2 super chat. I think that's from last stream, though. Might not have updated. That might be from last week, but I saw a new one come in. There we go. AFX with the $2 super chat saying, Joey, yo, bang. What is going on, my guy? Hey, it is great to see you, AFX, in the chat as always. Buddy Bear the GOAT. F the Ravens. Absolutely, positively correct. I'm glad the rest of the league is seeing F the Ravens. Scumbag organization. I don't know if you guys heard Max Crosby's side of the story came out the other day. The Ravens totally knew. It clearly had some inkling that they weren't going to sign him or weren't going to go through with the trade. It was unbelievable, folks. But some news just came in today for the Cleveland Browns. Actually, I'd say like an hour before we went live, maybe far less. Check this out. Daniel Ifusi telling us that the Browns agreed to terms with former Lions and Jaguars safety and special teams ace Daniel Thomas, 27 years old, played 233 special team snaps for Detroit last year. That was fourth most on the team. So Cleveland, new depth piece here at safety, but really this is a special teams move. That's been a big goal of theirs, to get new guys on that unit. It's such a bad unit last year, and so welcoming Daniel Thomas to the Cleveland Brownies on a 2-year deal. That will be per Jeremy Fowler. So that's one new signing, but I don't think the Browns are done. We can't be done. And, maybe the draft is where we get our next big move, big player. But I want to know in the comment section, what is one player that you want on the Browns? Give me somebody in the chat right now that you want in Cleveland, okay? Someone we could draft, someone we could sign, someone we could trade for. I'll let you be the judge. Who's somebody that you're looking at right now? You're like, that's the guy we need on the Browns. Let me know in that comment section. Maybe for a lot of you, it's Carnell Tate. But comment one player that you want on the Brownies right here, right now. Let me know in that comment section. We did lose another player in free agency, though. We'll make sure we get all the updates here. So, Mike Garafolo telling us the Texans have agreed to terms with Wyatt Teller. Officially official that Teller is leaving Cleveland, and he does choose the Houston Texans, 3-time Pro Bowler with the Browns. Knew he was going to be leaving. Knew things ended weirdly with him and Stefanski, and his wife, Carly Teller, had spoken out about it. And now Wyatt officially out of Cleveland into Houston. They got their guard. I also think this is why the Texans and Nick Caserio, that's their GM, felt comfortable giving us Titus Howard for only a 5th-round pick. I was told that the Texans threw us a bone because they beat us in a lot of trades before. Okay, we'll be honest. And they got Braden Smith. They got Wyatt Teller. They were fine giving us Titus Howard for 5th. So that's how that stacks up, everybody. What up, Jackson Green? What's going on? Everybody that's popping into the chat right now, welcome, welcome, welcome. This from Adam Schefter, by the way. We run through some more news that has come in for Cleveland. David Njoku visited with the Baltimore Ravens. Please, 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 David, do not choose that organization of scumbags. This is the only team I've heard officially Njoku has visited with. There were some rumors the Eagles might want him, and then Philadelphia elects to re-sign Dallas Goedert. And so now this is starting to gain traction, and I say that one would hurt. But it was obvious Njoku was not going to be back in Cleveland. I just don't want to have to see him in a Ravens uniform. That'd be gross. Come on, wouldn't that be disgusting? Especially now that we know that they're a scumbag organization even more. But new update from Adam Schefter there about our former tight end. And so, Njoku probably going to be added to this list of Browns' losses in free agency so far. Obviously, Devin Bush ended up in Chicago with the Bears. They got good value there for Bush. Cameron Thomas goes on over to the Atlanta Falcons. Not a guy we really used much, but he actually made a play on special teams for us before. Jerome Ford, officially a Washington Commander. They're just signing up a bunch of running backs in that backfield, and Jerome Ford will be one of them. And now you can add Wyatt Teller to that list of people the Browns did not bring back in free agency. But like I said, we're not just going to talk free agency. We're going to talk draft. We're going to talk trades here on today's show. We've got through the crazy week of free agency. Producer Parker and I, we were grinding that week. I'm not going to lie to you, right? Weren't we here late, Parker? Every night, cooking up. What a week that was. Now we're getting to the time where, signings will come in here and there, but I think you're really looking at trade rumors. You're looking at draft rumors. It's all mock drafts from here on out, folks. I mean, 'tis the season, about a month away from the big day, the big 3-day NFL draft here at Chat Sports and across the NFL league. So, Aaron Wilson, reporter, tells us that Louisville wide receiver Chris Bell visiting with the Browns. He's recovering well from a torn ACL in December. 72 receptions, 917 yards, 6 tutties last season. First team All-ACC honors, semifinalist for the, I can't even read, Parker. Bill Etnikoff Award, there it is. Chris Bell would have been a first-round talent absolutely before the injury. Absolutely first-rounder. ACL, though, hurt his stock a little bit, but very intriguing prospect. I'm very intrigued by Chris Bell. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm glad we're meeting with him. I think he's a guy Cleveland's looking at as, like, if he's not a first-rounder, one, if all the receivers are gone at 24 that everybody thinks we can get, Lemon, Tyson, Cooper, Boston, I don't know, whoever you like, if nobody else is there and Bell is an intriguing option at 24, maybe. I think this is more about the second round, though. Okay, if you're sitting there early second and Chris Bell hasn't gone yet, I think Cleveland wants to do their due diligence here because there was a lot of buzz around him before that injury. So let me know what you guys think about this. But let's get the like count up here on the stream. We got 130 people watching, only 22 likes. If you want the Browns to be good next year, like that video right now. We're not playing around. We got Todd Monken in the building now. New offensive system. I have high hopes that Monken's creative play calling, what he's done in Baltimore, can translate well to Cleveland. So like this stream right now. Okay, let's get this like count up. We can get to 50 likes here to start the show. All right? 120 people in the building, 25 likes. Let's get 25 more. We could double that. If you want the Browns to have a good season, folks, like this video right now, my diehard dog pound faithful. Tap the like button here to start the show. What we're going to be talking about today includes some trade rumors, some mock drafts from the experts. We're also going to be doing a mailbag, okay, a Q&A. So if you want to be on the show, send a super chat and we'll automatically put you on the stream. And if you want your question to be answered, super chat guarantees that. But in the live chat down below, if you put a hashtag Browns, you'll have a chance of getting your question or take in the show later. So comment questions throughout this whole stream with the hashtag Browns attached to it, and we'll go through and try to answer everybody's questions, as many as possible here on today's show. But super chatting skips the line and helps us out to be able to do fun stuff here at the channel, at the company, on the show. One more thing I wanted to touch on before we get into the segment. Did you guys see the deal for Rasheed Walker? Okay, apparently it's worth up to $10 million. So it wasn't 1 year, $10 million. It's 1 year, $4 million. That's a steal. We couldn't get Rashee Walker for $4 million to play left tackle. That hole would have been filled. He can make more via incentives, but it's a 1 year, $4 million deal for Rashee Walker. I think he didn't choose Cleveland. I think he didn't want to go here, which is weird. Elton Jenkins, another former Packer that we signed, said that he was hoping Rashee Walker could pull up. But he chose Carolina. And so now we got to figure out what to do at left tackle here, folks. That's why the draft is going to be huge. I'm not kidding. So get ready for that, folks. Also, right before we start the show, guys, we finally have awesome merch here at the program. So if you are a real one, if you're someone that tunes in to the live, the Browns Report shirts are for you. Go on over chatsports.com/Browns. Simple link. I put it in the chat. All of our merch can be found there. So definitely recommend hopping on over. Perfect gift married into this merch we have as well. Chatsports.com/Browns. Go find our whole collection over there. But specifically, we've got those new Browns Report t-shirts that I think are literally fresh and cool. Awesome stuff for the diehard fans. So if you guys want, go to chatsports.com/Browns. New. Brand new. Jarp said, need a 3XL tall size, my dude. I think we got plenty on there. Let me check. You definitely could get you the biggest one you need, Mr. Jarp. We actually have, I got notifications on, so I will give shout-outs to the first 5 people to buy our new Browns Report shirts or any merch at chatsports.com/Browns during the live stream. I will shout out everybody who buys today. Will get a special shout out here on the stream, okay? Chatsports.com/Browns. And I get notified when people buy, and I will shout you out. So, chatsports.com/Browns. Take a look at our collection. Buy what you like. All right. As I said, we're going to get ready to start the show here pretty soon. So, just make sure to tap that like button so that we can start to get into it. All righty? Let's have a fun time here today, folks. Ryan Clark. No, we're not. Not only is that obviously a joke to trade up to draft Diego Pavia, I wouldn't draft Diego Pavia at any draft pick of ours at all. Zero chance, please. The only quarterbacks I could see Cleveland taking are Nussmeier if he falls later than you think, which I think he's going to go day 2 now. So, no, we're not drafting him. Aller if he falls to like the late 4th or 5th. Again, it's going to be useless, though. Like, Watson, we're going to need a backup after Watson. That is true. But I think they're rolling with Shador next year. So, maybe a 7th-round quarterback that isn't Diego Pavia. We're done. We're done trying the short quarterbacks. We are. All right. Like I said, we've got mock drafts here from all the experts. Okay? Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper mock drafts came out. PFF mocks came out. Joel Klatt mock. I'm going to look at all of them for you guys, okay? So that's going to be our first talking point of today's show. How do we feel about that, Mr. Parker? All right, let's do it. You can go ahead and push me across, and we'll do like a cold open style here for this guy. So, all right, folks. That means we'll play the intro, too, like during the cut. All right, cool. Alrighty. Hit the like button, guys. Let's talk about the latest Browns mocks. Here we go. Like up the stream. Let's change the franchise, man, this year. Let's do it. Tap the like button and let us dive in to the latest Browns mock drafts and a brand new signing that Cleveland has made. Let's do it. The latest Browns mock drafts have all come out one in a row. Mel Kiper's, Daniel Jeremiah, Joel Klatt, PFF. We're going to look at all of them on today's show, as well as a new signing for the Cleveland Browns. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and I do wonder, how will Andrew Berry figure this one out? This puzzle of pick 6 and pick 24. Which one's the tackle? Which one's the wide receiver? The analysts are split on it. So we're going to look at all of it here together. But before we do that, I want your opinion real quick. At pick 6, who will Cleveland draft position-wise? Wide receiver, type WR. Offensive line, type OL. Other, type O. You let me know in that comment section what do you think Cleveland's going to do with that 6th pick, and let's get right in to this video. Welcome in, everybody. Well, actually, we will, because that's the wrong social. Start it over. This is coming later in the show, folks. Stay tuned. I adjusted it. I put the signing social there. Yep. No worries. I adjusted things, so. Live look at behind the scenes, folks. You know, they like to say, see how the sausage is made. We're going to take it from the top. But I promise, we're getting into the mock drafts. 2 likes away from 50 likes. Tap that like button and let's start talking about the latest. And we'll, as you saw, we'll do the comment before the intro. Cool. All right, folks. Now we can get ready to do it. All righty. Let us talk about it. Here we go. All the NFL draft experts have come out with mocks one after one after one. Mel Kiper, Daniel Jeremiah, Joel Klatt, PFF. We're going to look at all the Browns mock drafts today, the newest ones, and Cleveland made a new signing that we're going to talk about as well. But I do wonder, how will Andrew Berry figure out this puzzle piece of pick 6 and 24? Which one's the tackle? Which one's the wide receiver? The analysts are completely split on it too, as you'll see today. So I want your opinion in the comments section. With that 6th pick, should the Browns draft a wide receiver? Should they draft an offensive lineman? Or should they draft best available other different position group? You let me know by typing WR, OL, or O in that comment section. And let's get on with today's video. Welcome into the show, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and like I said, we're starting today's show off with a bang. New signing that just happened today for the Cleveland Browns, and this comes in from Daniel Oyefusi. The Browns agreed to terms with former Lions and Jaguars safety and special teams ace Daniel Thomas. Mary Kay reported it as well. Thomas, 27 years old, played 233 snaps on special teams for Detroit last season. That was 4th most on the team. And so you knew Cleveland was going to target some guys to play that special teams unit. That's exactly what this signing Daniel Thomas is about. Now, they were going to look for a safety as well, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. He actually had some decent coverage grades, did Daniel Thomas. Now, only 111 snaps at safety, but he could be a very obscure piece in that safety room. But again, I think this is much more about special teams, adding a guy to that unit, but you do see that he has some decent coverage grades, specifically on PFF, and so welcome in Daniel Thomas to the Cleveland Browns. What was the Browns' biggest issue last year? Special teams. So I'm glad they're getting people out on that unit, that coverage unit, specifically with our new special teams coordinator that is not Bubba Ventro. Like I said, the rest of today's show is going to be all about the analysts' mock drafts for Cleveland. We're going to look at a bunch of different ones together because Cleveland has a dilemma here, okay? What are you taking at 6? Is it wide receiver or tackle? So we're going to see how everybody else had to say about it. And as I always do, ask your opinions, give mine throughout the show. So for the diehard Browns fans, going over to chatsports.com/Browns. Get our new merch here, Browns Report shirts here at chatsports.com/Browns. This is for the real one. You can check out our whole collection while you're over there, too. Shout out to people that have been buying the Browns Support shirts and married into this merch here. We've got sweatshirts. We've got T-shirts. All of it at chatsports.com/Browns. Our beers, hats as well. But super excited that we've got show merch now for the Browns Support. So if you're a fan of the channel, go on over to chatsports.com/Browns. Grab yourself a tee here. The link is in the comment section and description of today's video. All right, so Joel Klatt is one we're going to start with here because he's specifically a college football analyst. And he says, here's the Browns' problem. I'm a big believer. I'm more of a best available versus areas of need. But the Browns are going to be stuck in this one. I think the 6th pick is going to be the most interesting pick in the draft because the Browns are going to be stuck to the point where they desperately want and need to take an offensive tackle. So what did Joel Klatt do then in his mock draft? Well, he said at pick 6, as a result, the Browns were going to go with Monroe Freeling, the Georgia offensive tackle. Obviously, Georgia connection there, but how many mocks have you guys started to see with Monroe Freeling at pick 6 now? The Cleveland Browns. Talk about a combine riser here because of his athleticism. Here's what Joel Klatt had to say specifically about the Freeling pick. I gave them Monroe Freeling because he's the best tackle in the draft because he's a natural left tackle, whereas the two best tackles in the draft, Francis Mauigoa and Spencer Fano, are more right tackles. I could just see Cleveland doing something like this, reaching for a left tackle because he plays left tackle. It's a good point to be made. I mean, the best tackles in the draft are right tackles. Mauigoa, right tackle. Fano, right tackle. Freeling is the only left tackle. Blake Miller, right tackle. So that's why Cleveland would reach a little bit higher on Freeling here because he's the only true left tackle and he's the best one of the true left tackles with a lot of upside. Okay? And so that is why Klatt has Freeling going 6 to Cleveland. And then you go to pick 24 and we land Omar Cooper Jr., the Indiana wide receiver. I like Cooper a lot. I think if he's there at 24 and you just went O-line, it's a no-brainer, especially if Tyson and Lemon do not end up falling that far. Cooper has great film, really good in short areas, one of the better catches of college football, game-winning drive against Penn State, touchdown in the clutch. Like Cooper a lot. Good at contested catches, too. I think it's an underrated part of his game, but really he's good at getting open in yards after the catch here. Look at some of his numbers from last season in college football. 937 yards. Now, obviously did play with Elijah Surratt, but scored 13 touchdowns. Okay, touchdown machine, doesn't drop the ball either. Pretty good, pretty productive, efficient wide receiver. Would love Omar Cooper on this football team. So that's the Joel Klatt mock draft. Let's go to Daniel Jeremiah, who switches things up for the Browns. He says at pick 6, the Browns are going to take Carnell Tate. They're going to take that Ohio State Buckeye that a lot of you want the Browns to take. So let's talk a little bit about Tate, why this would be the case. Daniel Jeremiah specifically gives us this insight. It feels like the Browns need to land on offensive tackle and receiver within their first round selections. In this simulation, they're willing to gamble that a round 1 caliber OT will be waiting for them at pick 24, selecting the highly enticing Tate here. Listen, I like Carnell Tate's game a lot. I think he's the most polished receiver in the draft. That does make sense, but you are taking a gamble, right? I mean, you probably need left tackle more, or I shouldn't say more, but you can get receivers throughout this draft. This is a deep wide receiver draft class. As I just showed you, this is not a deep left tackle draft class. So if you take Tate first, you got to hope that something like this happens. Daniel Jeremiah says the Browns could get Caleb Lomu at pick 24. The Utah left tackle specifically. It's kind of interesting. Kind of similar to Freeling in the sense that he still needs some development, but he's really athletic, has good movement, and is a pure left tackle. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. Really good footwork, though. Like I said, he has that athletic upside. Needs to improve as a run blocker, I would say. He was really good at pass blocking at Utah. But definitely some development needed for both Lomu and Freeling here that have really high upside because of their athleticism and footwork. Here are the PFF grades, and as I was alluding to, they reflect the pass blocking much better than the run blocking. I think what it is for Lomu is got to put on some strength, too, which you can do, but also, something we don't talk about a lot, Lomu allowed 0 sacks last year, okay? And so maybe this is the way to go. Get your favorite receiver right away at 6 and hope you can get Lomu, who is a first-round talent perhaps at left tackle. And that's the puzzle that we are working out. Mel Kiper says it's going to be this. Monroe Freeling at 6, Makai Lemon at 24. I did a full video on Kyper's mock draft, so don't miss that if you haven't watched it already. But, man, what a dream that would be if Makai Lemon could fall all the way to 24. I don't see how that's possible at all. I've seen others where Jordan Tyson falls to 24. I don't see how that's possible. Joel Klatt actually had Tyson at 25. I think Browns would take him in a heartbeat if he's there at 24, but both of those feel unlikely to me. But even the great Mel Kiper is saying the Browns might be able to get Lemon at 24. I don't know if that's possible, but that's definitely a great way to go here if you get Freeling and then Lemon in the draft this year. Like Lemon's game, really shifty, really good after the catch. Separation warrior, too. You got to think about it in terms of Shador dropping back there. What if his first read is just wide open? Makes things a lot easier to get a guy that's good at separation specifically. So whichever receiver you take, keep that in mind. PFF did a mock as well, guys. I told you, they are flying in left and right here lately after the free agency signings. And so PFF has the same thing as Joel Klatt, that the Browns would go Monroe Freeling at 6 and then Omar Cooper Jr. at 24. So the most commonly mocked pick at 6 right now from the latest draft experts is Freeling to Cleveland. I really wonder how you guys feel about this, because he does have upside. He does need a little bit of development, but I would say the idea is there. And I posed this question on my Twitter the other day. Would you rather? Would you rather Cleveland gets Carnell Tate at 6 and Caleb Lomu at 24, like Daniel Jeremiah has? Or would you rather they go Monroe Freeling at 6 and then the best wide receiver available at 24, Tyson, Lemon, Cooper, whoever falls there. Maybe it even is Chris Bell now at this point, who met with the Browns today. How do you want Cleveland to address this puzzle right here? What do you think? If you had to be a GM, what should Cleveland do with their first? Let me know in that comment section. Which would you rather? Your favorite receiver and then hope for a left tackle at 24, or your favorite left tackle and then hope for a good receiver at 24? Comment down below what you think. I will say, to give you some added context, I think the receiver at 6 is a more surefire hit, that the receiver is going to be a good player. But I think that there's more receivers to get in this draft. Like, there's a better chance you get a wide receiver 1 at 24 than a left tackle at 24. Something to consider, but I do like the way Jeremiah had it. If Lomu's there, then I would take your receiver first. If you don't think that's going to be the case, you might just have to get your guy right away, which is Freeling, and then pick a really good receiver at 24. Let me know. This is going to be a really fun puzzle all offseason long, so get that in the comment section. I'll add one more thing to this, too. I think the Browns are going to make a trade here. I really do. I don't think they're going to sit here at 6 if their plan is to draft receiver or left tackle. I think they trade down and get one, because you're going to need extra draft picks, clearly. And if you want a better chance at getting your guy later, an extra second wouldn't hurt. Another late first wouldn't hurt. So I do think they make a trade here on draft day, most likely trading down, but we'll talk about that in future videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out when the Browns make moves and when all the mocks come out. I got you guys covered with draft content all month long. Get ready, gear up. Big 3 days coming up in April. So hit that subscribe button. We'll be live for it. And I'll see you guys next time with more Browns content. Good stuff? Good stuff, people. Yo, the Panthers are trading Andy Dalton to the Eagles. They got a trade partner for Dalton. Unbelievable. Andy Dalton. It's Andy Dalton to the Eagles in exchange for a 2027 7th-round pick. I mean, about as buy low as you can get. Andy Dalton, man. Still balling. You know what was interesting? The Browns didn't bring in another quarterback at all yet in free agency. I think they're really rolling with Shador. I think they should. Super Chat, if you guys want to be on the show, shout out to everybody that does. Helps out the channel a lot. Shout out to all the real ones being in the chat right now, too. We're going to talk trade rumors next. Trade rumors next, folks. I think that there's a real chance Cleveland trades for a wide receiver here because of how difficult it is to evaluate this draft puzzle. So I think it's a real chance. I'm going to talk about all the wide receivers in rumors. That'll be the next segment on our show. We can welcome in producer Parker, our guy. Look who's on the ones and twos today, guys. Welcome back, Parker.
What's going on, guys?
Couple weeks in a row, you and me.
2 weeks in a row. I mean, I'm a Browns faithful at this point.
Let's go. Welcome in, producer Parker. Everybody say hi, Parker, in the chat. Everybody drop your hi, Parkers. Like I said, we're going to talk trade rumors next. And
I mean, listen, guys. We're doing a mailbag today, and I only got 2 questions.
Oh, we need more.
I mean, you guys got to put that hashtag Browns in the comments, ask your question, and your boy Joey O is going to answer it on the 3rd segment.
That's right. That's right, guys. Super chat or use the hashtag Browns to get a question or take featured on the show.
What's up, Robert? What's up, Jarp? He said any meteors. What does that
Any
mean?
meteors?
I don't know. I hope not.
Maybe it's like a character named Parker or something who like goes to space.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jar. I don't know. Let us know, Jarp.
Yeah, take your time, Robert. But we got to get these questions in before the third segment starts so that we can do our mailbag today.
That's right. Robert's trying to come up with a juicy question here. Let us know. Let us know what you got.
If I had to give you guys, okay, so Tinfinity got a question. Yeah, if you guys want to ask a question about, the draft or who you want the Browns to pick, or ask Joey what he wants the Browns to do, or any potential trade up or trade down questions or whatever.
Yeah.
Good.
Anything. If you guys want your questions on the show today, use the hashtag Browns or Super Chat to skip the line. Also, you can share a take if you would like me to react to it. Anything with the hashtag Browns and or Super Chat, and get the party going.
James said it takes more than 2 weeks to become a Browns faithful.
You gotta live through this, dude.
Yeah, no, I definitely have some work to do as far as that goes.
Oh, you don't know the half of it, man. We've been watching this team year after year after year. Even the bad years, Parker. It takes a while. Takes a while. So, I would also be down to do a beer bong for a bigger Super Chat.
Yeah, for a 50.
For a $50 Super Chat, I'll do a beer bong if that entices you to get on the show. Why not? I feel like partying today, dude. We'll drink it up. $50 Super Chat. We'll go to town. And you'll get on the show. Okay, well, another wide receiver just went off the market, folks. Westbrook Akine to sign with the Colts. Very interesting that Cleveland didn't sign a single wide receiver. We're going to talk about that next. I definitely named them the same thing. Yeah, you know what? Let's just make deal trade. Let's make a trade. And I'm going to move this up. Just go player L3 to player L3. All right. Let's talk about trade rumors, folks. Shout out to whoever just followed me on Twitter. Shout out. Shador144. Heck yeah. If anybody follows me on Twitter and buys our merch, I will give you a shout out on stream here today, folks. Probably more likely for the merch. But I'll put some links in the chat if anybody wants a shout out. There's my Twitter. There's our merch collection. And yeah, let's get ready to dive in. What do you say? Parker's ready. If you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's talk trading for a wide receiver. It's going to happen. Hopefully. Let's do it. Let's make a trade. We're going to talk about the top Cleveland Browns trade targets at wide receiver after NFL free agency and just before the draft. Why wide receiver specifically? Well, the Browns did not sign a single wide receiver in free agency. Not one. Nor did they draft a wide receiver in 2024. So I really do think that Cleveland could be gearing up to make a big trade here in 2026. Let's get ready to talk about who. And I also want to make a deal with the people right here. Hit that subscribe button for free, and I'll give you Browns content all year long. All I ask for in return is your free support to create more content for you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you love the Brownies. And let's talk about some trade candidates that are in rumors right now. We'll start with A.J. Brown. How many times has A.J. Brown's name come up in trade rumors? Well, there's new developments here on A.J. Brown and the possibility that he could be traded. Adam Schefter just the other day had this to say. I would still lean towards an A.J. Brown trade because that's what he would prefer. But the Eagles will not be in the market to just give him away, and there has to be a team that has to be willing to make it happen. Now, this isn't the first time A.J. Brown trade rumors have been brought up and linked to the Browns specifically. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN insider, literally mocked this trade, that the Browns would get A.J. Brown and give up their later first-round pick to do so. That is pick 24. When you think about the concept of Cleveland will draft a wide receiver in the first round and a left tackle in the first round, what if you'll quote-unquote use pick 24 to get A.J. Brown? Is that too much? Is that not enough for Philadelphia now? I don't know. But the other part of this is this trade was most likely going to come post-June 1. It's just much better for Philadelphia for that to be the case. Now, an Eagles beat reporter, Elliot Shore-Parks, did say that the Eagles could trade A.J. Brown pre-June 1 now. It would just be an additional $20 million in dead cap as a result of the trade. But they would still have more cap space left than they did when free agency started, right? 20 mil, 12 mil. So I think Howie Roseman, that's the Eagles GM, ideally he really wants to wait till post-June 1. That's when it's going to heat up even more. But just know that A.J. Brown is still being talked about. Teams are calling the Eagles about him. Now, when you think about that Jaylen Waddle trade, though, well, that increases A.J. Brown's price. It does. Waddle's getting the first. I mean, it's a late first, but he's getting a first-round pick and more. A.J. Brown in Philadelphia, they're going to want a haul. So factor that in when you answer this question, but tell me down below, would you trade for A.J. Brown? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know in that comment section if you would do a deal for a new wide receiver one like A.J. The next one we're going to talk about is one that I think a lot of Browns fans would really like and be fond of, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr., another wide receiver, quote-unquote, big-name wide receiver that has been talked about, speculated about, and why is that? Let's dive into Marvin Harrison Jr. rumors for the Cleveland Browns. Now, the first one I'm going to put out here, the source is Dov Kleiman, so do not listen too closely to him. But this was on Twitter, and well, got a lot of views. The Browns checked in on Chris Olave and Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, Cleveland trying to make some major moves this offseason. And so, maybe they did at the combine, like bring it up, because that's an area where all the GMs are in the same room at the same time. There is a lot of quote-unquote talking, okay? A lot of deals are made at the combine. You guys saw that. You saw that for sure. So perhaps they did talk. And then Shedeur was asked about it. I mean, this rumor got so big that Shedeur Sanders was interviewed about trading for Marvin Harrison Jr. or Chris Olave. He points to the camera and he says, come on down, come on over. Shedeur would love it. And so we got to talk about Marv a little bit. I don't think the Saints trade Olave, especially now that Chuck has looked pretty good for them. There's no way they're giving up their wide receiver one. But Marv could be a trade candidate. I'll tell you what, Cardinals fans think he's a bust. They're up in flames. They're furious about it. The production hasn't lived up to the 4th overall pick, which is what he was back in the day. Could he be a buy low candidate then? Right? I mean, you have to think about this based on what direction you think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going. If you think he's going up, he's going to get much better, then you buy low. If you think he's only getting worse, then you sell high. For Cleveland, and from their perspective, it is buy low on Marvin Harrison Jr. Definitely a down year, though, right? Also, a little bit of injuries. You still saw some really good moments from him, though, like against the Cowboys when he just absolutely cooked Deron Bland, scored a touchdown there on that nasty route. But interestingly enough, for the Cardinals, Michael Wilson looked like their wide receiver one a lot last year. Now, when Marvin Harrison Jr. was healthy, he was the go-to for Jacoby Brissett, but Michael Wilson had the 1,000-yard season. Marv, definitely a down year and not close to what, the hype was around him. So maybe Arizona would deal him right now for the right price, and that is probably a first-round pick since he was a top 5 pick for them not too long ago. So what about this idea? Would you trade the 24th pick for Marvin Harrison Jr. then, who's on a rookie deal, who's an Ohio State Buckeye? to be your wide receiver 1. Let me know in the comment section, would you accept this trade rather than A.J. Brown? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Let me know in that comment section if you would trade to the 24th for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be a Brownie. We've got plenty more wide receiver trade rumors to look at here, but let's give a shout out to our awesome sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. The playoff push is heating up, and tournament hoops are here. And there's no better way to cash in if you're right on the high-flying hoops action than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Every bucket, every dime, and every win means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. And with their brand new Team Picks markets, you can now pick game winners, spreads, and totals on top of the player picks you already know. So cash in if you're right during all the clutch buckets, slam dunks, and Cinderellas this spring with Team Picks on Prize Picks. I always loved making player picks on Prize Picks, and now with Team Picks, there's so many more opportunities to cash in if we make the right picks. Pick the winner straight up on Prize Picks. Who's going to win the next big basketball game? Who's going to win the fight? Back your takes with real money. And dude, Prize Picks has Team Picks here in my state. I downloaded the app, and I've been picking winners, spreads, and totals ever since. Whether it's battles for playoff seeding or tournament hoops, you can make all your picks right in the same Prize Picks app. My team pick, give me Akron. They are not going to lose by more than 8.5 points. That is my pick. You can make ones just like it now if you download the Prize Picks app today and pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoff push rolls on. And get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup when you use code CLNS. That is code CLNS to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, next up, Jordan Addison is a trade candidate, folks. Believe it or not, I could see an Addison trade going down this year or next year, but it's going to start this year, okay? Why is Jordan Addison a trade candidate here for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, here you go. You got off-field issues again for Addison. You do, and I think it's likely they ship him out. But they also don't want to pay him and Justin Jefferson. You're paying Jefferson a heck of a lot of money, as you should. You're going to have to pay Jefferson even more money, as you should. They're not going to want to pay Addison a huge bag, too, when he's a free agent in 2028, and they probably don't want to extend him if that's the case. So Addison, who has showed lots of good in this league on the field, could be someone that Cleveland goes after, but there are those off-field issues, which I think is a huge reason why Cleveland or why Minnesota would also be looking to trade him and just, keep Jefferson here. I mean, you had the speeding issue, which, well, the Browns are no stranger to doing that, I'll tell you that. He was arrested on suspicion of a DUI 2024. He actually got suspended for the first quarter of our game because he missed walkthrough. And then trespassing in a casino in January. Got arrested for that. So, definitely take that into account here. But football-wise, I'll say this. Addison would be a wide receiver 1 on a lot of other teams. I mean, he's a talented player. He really is. So consider that. But I'm not giving up one of our first rounders for Jordan Addison. No, not with the off-field issues. I'm not giving up pick 24 like we would for A.J. Brown or Marvin Harrison. Okay? So if we're going to get Addison, I'd consider it for his talent. Great piece to that room. Like I said, would be a wide receiver 1 on some other teams. But I'm not giving up the first for it. Now, our Vikings host here at Chat Sports, Patrick Seatman, says if the Vikings got a second, they would take it. A second I'm listening to you about, okay? Maybe we could do more of like a third and like a little pick swap later. But I'd consider it for a second. You keep both your firsts and get Jordan Addison. Now I am listening, folks. Now I really am here. We can build some more in the draft and only have to take one wide receiver if need be. Another player with off-field issues and is in trade rumors as a wide receiver is Rashee Rice, who I'm being told by our Chiefs host is someone that Kansas City could be looking to shop around here in the offseason. I'll say this about Rashee Rice. When he came back last year, he was balling. I mean, played in 8 games, 5 touchdowns, 570 yards. Like, it's kind of the number 1 target for Mahomes when Mahomes was healthy. And so I have no issues with his talent as a receiver. I think he's a really good piece to add to that room. But he is a headache off the field. You want to talk about off-field issues, you got to bring up Rashee Rice. Second-round pick in 2023 he was. So maybe he gets moved for a third-rounder or even later. But He's only 25 years old. He's a very talented wide receiver. And so here's another option that, well, it would be a Browns move to go out and trade for Rashee Rice now, wouldn't it? Keep him on your radar. One more I'm going to talk about as a blockbuster, and then we're going to talk about some more likely wide receiver options. Brian Thomas Jr. could be traded. A lot of speculation around him. A lot of speculation that teams have called. The Jaguars have not hinted at all that they want to trade BTJ. They basically shut it down in their press conference, saying he's a part of their plans. I think your offer would have to blow them away. They want at least a first for BTJ, and well, we're just not going to give that up for a guy that had a down year too. So that one's pretty unlikely. It seems like the Jags are shutting down those rumors, but just because of how much speculation's been around him, I threw him up there. Some wide receivers that maybe not as good production-wise as some of the guys we've already talked about, but have been really in trade talks and could be likely to get for later picks are Quentin Johnston. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN says he's a wide receiver to watch that could get traded. Keon Coleman is one that the Bills seemingly had given up on. Now they're back in on him. Their organization might be more dysfunctional than ours, their front office. I don't know why they kept that GM, but they basically said that they didn't want to draft Keon Coleman, and, well, you come out and say that. I don't understand how he couldn't be a trade option here. Rashad Bateman, someone that Fowler of ESPN also linked as a wide receiver trade candidate, who Todd Monken knows pretty well. Maybe Cleveland calls up Baltimore, but nobody should do any more deals with Baltimore anymore. Okay, we're going to make this trade, and then they're going to back out of it. Dontavian Wicks of the Packers is someone that's more likely to get traded here. They did lose Romeo Doubs, but they just always have a seemingly consistent group of wide receiver 1s to 3s, and Wicks is probably the more likely one to be traded instead of Jaden Reed. Dante Thornton Jr. as well. The Raiders are looking to shop. I think he's trash, though. You can only use him as a really deep shot player. As a 4th-round pick for them. And the new regime, I don't think is going to try and run it back with him. But never know. Maybe Kubiak brings the most out of him. But these are some other names that I've been told and also have been reported by ESPN as trade candidates at the wide receiver position specifically. And they would be cheaper to trade for than AJ, than MHJ, than BTJ. So get in the comment section and let me know one player that you want the Browns to trade for. Who should we trade for specifically, okay? Not talking signings, not talking drafting. I'm saying trade. Andrew Barry's an aggressive GM. Who should we go out and get? Loves to trade for wide receivers, by the way. He really does. So they didn't sign one. Seems like a trade could be in the works. If not, we're drafting multiple. Let me know in the comment section who you want the Browns to trade for at wide receiver. And that's going to do it for our show today. Hit that subscribe button if you love the Brownies. I've got free Browns content coming your way every single day. I've been your host, Joey O'Donohue, and I'll see you guys next time with more Browns videos. Alrighty. Lando said bring in Hopkins. I like Hopkins. Next segment is going to be the Q&A, folks. Q&A. So, if you want to get on the show, send a super chat in. Would have loved Waddle. Yeah. Gave up a lot, though. Would you have loved to give up a first, a third, and a fourth? That Waddle trade makes sense for the Broncos, who are just all in to win. Shout out to Toasted, sending a super chat during the video. We will get that on the screen. Make sure you hit that like button, folks. Pat Wooey said, get a tall wide receiver with hands. Toasted with the 2. Can we ever get a collab stream with Petey? That's above my pay grade. I doubt it. Petey actually moved, so he doesn't live here anymore. But shout out to Petey when he was here. We hung out a few times. We got along, so it's good stuff. Good guy. Good guy. Shout out Toasted for the $2 super chat. Like I said, if you want to be on the show, send in a super chat, and we'll shout you out. Deal still stands. Beer bong for a $50 super chat. And then let's get some more questions in the chat here. Hashtag Browns. Share a question or take in the chat right now down below. Let me know in the comment section. Which wide receiver, just a girl? Oh, you don't like Jordan Tyson? He's so good, though. He's got injuries. I get it. Deion Sanders loves him. He'd be the best wide receiver in the class if it weren't for the Injuries. I've been told that by a couple people. Mary Kay says, will the Browns be compelled to draft a receiver high now? I mean, you still need a left tackle, though. Let's see what this is about, too. Yeah, Chris Bell was widely considered a top 20 pick before the ACL injury. He's now running and jumping. Met with the Browns. Let me know, folks. Let me know. Questions, takes. How we doing on questions, Parker? Need a couple more? Or? Hopefully. What up, Joshua Miller? Your boy Ham. I don't think I ever said that word. Cuyahoga? I don't think I've said that on any show. Must have been watching somebody else. Unless it was a shout out your city thing, but I don't think I did. 100 Block says, I say trade down and get more picks. I like that. Kathy got one in. Welcome in, Joshua Miller. We're talking Browns football. We've talked mock drafts. We've talked trades. Talked a lot of Browns stuff here. Now we're going to do a Q&A with all your questions. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Let me know. Oh, I had to pick up the kids from school? Okay. Being a good dad. Oh, okay. That's funny. Well, thank you, your boy Ham. Jamin, why do you think the media is so against us? It's a good question. I wouldn't mind throwing that in, too. All right, cool. I don't think that, and then how many super chats do we get? Right. Yeah, so neither. But let me know if you guys want to get in. Send a super chat in. Try to get this party going. Lando, Max Clare. I'm hearing some buzz around him lately, too. Third round pick's important, though. There's going to be some good defensive players in that round, too. All right. Let's do the mailbag. Let's do it. Who's ready? Let's do it. Let's answer y'all's questions. Here we go. Welcome into the Browns Report, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and we're talking Browns football, as we always do. So, we're going to dive into every question that Browns fans have today and all the latest rumors. I want to encourage everybody to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 74,000 subscribers. Hit the sub button. It is free to join this party. Subscribe so you don't miss a video. Look at that, 73,704. We just need 296 more, folks. Hit the subscribe button. And you can be a part of videos just like this as well when we do our weekly lives every Wednesday, maybe some Thursdays. We switch it up, but we don't switch up our favorite team. So, if you're a Browns fan, hit the sub button and join us. Let's go with Ryan Clark here as the first question on today's show. Hashtag Browns. Trade down a few picks, get more draft capital, snag Lemon or Tate, still available. Ryan, you're speaking my language. I love the trade down this year. I really do. You're sitting there at 6. You move down. Lemon, Tate, Tyson, one of them's going to be there. Freeling. I don't know if you're going to take Fano or Maui Noah because I don't think they can play left tackle. Maybe Fano can. But the trade down gets you extra draft capital and the receiver you want. It sounds pretty good to me. Or it gets you Monroe Freeling later in the draft, like 10. Pick 10. Makes sense. Extra draft picks. I like it. Your boy Ham just sent in a $5 super chat. Shout out your boy Ham. Told you we got everybody in. Send it in the super. Say the Browns do trade down. What would emphasize capital or combo a player and pick? Who would we target? Good question here about the trade down. Once again, from your boy Ham. So you're saying capital or a combo, a player and a pick, and then who would we target? It would definitely just be picks, I think, in the trade down. If you're going to make a trade for a player, it's probably going to come right before the draft. It's possible it happens on draft night, but I think the trade down for Cleveland would be a team that wants to move up to 6 to get Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, David Bailey, Arvell Reese if they're there at 6, That's what you're looking at with the trade down is the Cowboys or the Bengals, who probably won't do business with you, but the Cowboys desperately need a defensive player, jump up. Because the Commanders are right behind you at 7. They're drafting defense. So the trade down is give us more draft picks, and you can jump to 6. We're going to go down where you are and draft, wide receiver or tackle. Now, a lot of teams, reported by Adam Schefter, really want the 2027 first. So what if the Browns get the 2027 first from the Cowboys? That's something to consider as well. They have 2 first-round picks this year. But I do think it's going to be about getting more draft capital in Cleveland for the trade down. Good question by your boy Ham. Let's go to Brian. What about Jacob Rodriguez, Texas Tech linebacker on second? Second, possibly. I love him. He's got great instincts. I mean, we've been on him for a while. We've talked about him for a lot here on the show. Could kind of be exactly what they did with Schlesinger last year, right? You drafted a linebacker to start the second round, and it worked out incredibly. Pairing him with Rodriguez, that would be incredible. Now, I don't think it's as realistic, though, anymore, Brian, because of the Quincy Williams signing. And Cleveland found their replacement right away. Quincy loves our defensive coordinator. Quincy was an all-pro at one point. I think they're trying to tap back into Quincy Williams. And so it's probably not as likely they draft Jacob Rodriguez in the second. If he's there in the third somehow, then we're absolutely, no doubt about it, grabbing him. But I think it's less likely, even though he's such a good prospect. Dallas AB. Joey, I have an idea. What's the idea? First, we offer the Dolphins 6 for 11 and 30. Then at 11, we take Freeling. Then at 16, we call the Jets, offer them 24 and 30, and we use 16 to take Jordan Tyson. I love the way you've thought this out, Dallas AB. This man is Andrew Berry in Dallas right here. It seems a little far-fetched or extravagant, but if you're just straight up telling me we get Freeling and Jordan Tyson, yeah, I would love it. Now, I will say the Jordan Tyson injuries do concern a lot of people. To me, if it weren't for the injuries, he'd be wide receiver 1 in the class. He would. But trading up for Jordan Tyson, probably not something I would do. I love Tyson at 24 if he falls to you. But if you're talking trade up, you're probably just going to sit there and get the receiver that falls, which is Omar Cooper maybe. Could be Lemon if you're really lucky, or Tyson if you're really lucky. Chris Bell met with the Browns recently. I think you're going to look at the wide receivers that get to you. But I do love Tyson's game a lot. So shout out Dallas AB. And I do love trading down to get Freeling still. Let's go to Robert Colbert. Will anyone pick Stephon Diggs, or is he on his way out of the NFL? It's a great question here from Robert Colbert. I'll tell you what, the Browns aren't going to pick up Diggs. Makes no sense for them. He's older. Off-the-field issues are unbelievable. Now, it'd be weird if Diggs didn't play football next year. He's still got talent. He still plays well on the field. So it is weird that there's no rumors on who's in on Stephon Diggs. And there's a chance what you're talking about here could happen. I think it's all the off-field issues. Believe he had some legal trouble. They're waiting for things to cool down over there for Diggs. And then we'll talk about guaranteed money for him if you're a GM, right? And I think he also wants more than teams want to give him because of those issues. But he's still a productive wide receiver. He won't be a Cleveland Brown, though. Jamin, why do you think media is so against us? Last year, they said Wyatt Teller was terrible. And then he goes to the Texans and is believed to have years left and a great pickup for them. Hey, man, the media is always sleeping on the Browns, okay? I'm glad you bring this up. They're sleeping on us right now next year, too. They have ESPN thinks the Browns are going to be one of the worst teams in the league next year. Newsflash, we had a top 5 defense last year. And Todd Monken, I really think is going to move this offense around. I really think things are going to pick up here. And we went out there, we made offensive line signings, and we've got 9 draft picks coming up. So The media is always going to be against Cleveland because of the franchise history. But there will be a day where the Brownies are back in the playoffs, and we're talking Super Bowl eventually. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But it will be one day. I just hope, I pray, in our lifetime, in my lifetime, we watch those Brownies in a Super Bowl. So, glad you brought that to light, Jay. They're always hating on us. But one day, they'll come around. They'll see. They'll see. If you believe it, go on and rep our Browns Report merch here. We've got new Browns Report t-shirts, okay, for the diehard Browns fans. Go to chatsports.com/Browns to find our entire collection of merch, okay? That includes our Browns Report t-shirts, includes our Married Into This merch that we've got, a perfect gift for your significant other who maybe wasn't always a Browns fan, but they married into the fandom. Maybe your special someone is a Browns fan because they married you. This is the perfect gift. We've got the women's sweatshirts and t-shirts, unisex sweaters as well. Chatsports.com/Browns to find our full collection of merch. We've also got our beers hats, too, from Chat Sports there. Chatsports.com/Browns. If you like to party and if you need a drink as a Browns fan, well, all of that's pretty good and easily accessible. Chatsports.com/Browns. Going over. Get our merch. All right, let's go to another question here from Lando. #Browns. Max Clare at 70 or get the best blocking tight end available in the 5th? Good question here from Lando. I'll say that Cleveland signed Jack Stoll to a 1-year deal. He's a really good blocking tight end. Came from New Orleans. That seems to be their blocking TE. I did think they would go blocking tight end, but now I think they're going to go receiving tight end. So Max Clare, Buckeye, definitely someone that Cleveland will look at 70, but I do think 3rd round's a little high for them there. Now, if they modeled last year's strategy, they went tight end in the 3rd round and it worked out pretty well. But I think there's going to be some really good defensive talent in the 3rd round. I think there's going to be some receivers left in that 3rd round, like Zachariah Branch at 70 perhaps, if you're lucky. So I don't see them going with Clare, but I do see them still getting a tight end. I'd look even later at receiving upside tight ends like a Dallin Bentley out of Utah. Joshua Miller. I get we need draft capital, but next year, not this year. We need all the picks we can get in case we need a QB in 2027. Listen, Joshua Miller, you're onto something because Adam Schefter told everybody that teams really want that 2027 first. They do. The class is going to be really good. The quarterback class is going to be really good. The receiver class is going to be really good. Well, at least Jeremiah Smith, who I think is a Miami Dolphin, honestly. You can quote me saying that, what is today? March 2026? 2027, watch this. Jeremiah Smith's going to be drafted by the Dolphins. But everybody wants those 2027 first, so it's a good point. We could stock up there. But I also think the Browns are close to contending. Well, I should say close to being competitive, closer than people realize. So might not be a bad idea to get some draft picks in this class, but absolutely 2027 is important as well. Hillis. Oh, I like that. A little Madden cover, too. Browns legend. Who are some players you want the Browns to draft? Good question here from Hillis to 2012. I think Cleveland has to do a combo of one of two things. If you love Carnell Tate and he's the receiver you want at 6, then you need to get Caleb Lomu at 24. And then you need Zachariah Branch later. Okay, if you're going to get a big outside receiver like Tate, you need a screen merchant like Zachariah Branch who's really good after the catch. If you want Mekhi Lemon early, your slot receiver, then you should get Brazel later. Then you should get Jacoby Lane or Bryce Lance later. If you know ball, you know. But those are perfect receiver pairings for Cleveland if you go one of two ways. Now, if you get a Tyson or an Omar Cooper Jr., those guys can do it all. So, yeah, it opens the door to get any type of receiver that you want. So, obviously, the positions are obvious here for what I want Cleveland to get. What I want to do is try to fit that puzzle where you get the best possible pick at each first. So, I love the top 3 receivers. You can only get those guys at 6 probably. So, I either want Lomu and the best receiver in the class, or I want Freeling and the best receiver available at 24. That's what I want to happen, Hillis. But I want your opinion in the comment section. Who's the number 1 player that you want the Cleveland Browns to draft? Let me know in that comment section down below some players that you want to see in the brown and orange next year, folks. Be the GM and give me the number 1 player you want Cleveland to draft. 100 block. 64 wide receiver from Cincinnati would be a steal, or 24 in the later rounds. Are you talking about Cyrus Allen, the Cincinnati wide receiver? because that would definitely be a late round pick. But in terms of late round wide receivers that you could steal, I like Jacoby Lane, who I brought up, who's 6'4", and actually ran a 4.47. Brazel's like 6'5", ran a 4.37. Bryce Lance, really fast too, 6'4". A lot of late guys you can get that are big and fast in this draft. It's a deep, loaded wide receiver class. Also, look out for the Bells. Skylar Bell, Chris Bell, a lot of buzz on them lately. The UConn receiver, Skylar Bell, could be a stud in Cleveland as well. So a lot of really good options here at wide receiver. That's a class where Cleveland's going to draft 2, at least, I believe. All right, that's going to do it for our Q&A today, guys. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter, Joey070, Instagram, Brown Support IG, and TikTok, Joey O. Brown. Give me a follow. Plenty of Browns content on there every day as well, especially Twitter. So don't miss out. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you all tuning in to this edition of the Browns Report. And we'll see you next time with more videos. All right. It's good stuff. Good stuff, folks. Fun times. Fun live stream. Rowan Roman said, can you shout me out? Should I? I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to Rowan. Roman, my guy. Also, gonna shout out everybody that buys the merch. I get notified whenever someone buys, so I will give shout outs to all the people buying our Browns Report merch. And there we go. Shout out Don. Shout out Don. Everybody that's buying Browns Report merch, I will give you a shout out here. Chatsports.com/Browns. Find our whole collection over there. Only $24.99 for the Browns Report t-shirt, by the way, okay? Do not miss out. Check it out. Chatsports.com/Browns. I'll give shout outs. Florida Gators lineman. Do you mean Jake Slaughter? The center. I like him. There's some good centers in this class. There are some good centers in this class. Oh, Rowan's Noti Gang. Oh, heck yeah. Shout out to you, my guy. Gets notified when we post a video. Make sure you guys turn your notifications on so you don't miss when we do stuff here. And Browns breaking news especially. I make videos right when stuff happens. Sometimes we're the first one on it. You want to be the first to know. So make sure you join the Noti Gang. Subscribe. Would I have kept Teller? He didn't want to stay is the only problem. It's a good question, but he didn't want to stay. He was out. I would keep Bitonio for that purpose, to mentor and maybe play a bit. Still no word on Joel Bitonio, by the way. Are you retiring or what? Hit the like button, guys. We're 1 like away from 80 likes. We are 1 like away. Ohio underdog. What's the big problem? The big problem is we don't have a left tackle. And it's quote-unquote a reach to take a left tackle at 6. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But all right, guys. Unless anybody has any other super chats, I will get ready to hop off here on live. Teller can let the door hit him. Yeah, man. I mean, he put out a sad goodbye message. It's a shame it ended that way, but he didn't want to be here. He went to Houston. I wonder if Devin Bush left on his own, too, because that $10 million a year, we could have gave him that. But we had to invest in that O-line, which is true, which is definitely most important. Quincy Williams replaced him. That's how it works. So, all right, folks, we'll give it a few minutes, and then we will start to hop off here. But, Parker, what if you want to hop on one last time, what did you think of the live today? Any of your thoughts on the stuff we talked about? Some of the
What's going on,
stuff?
Brownies?
What have you thought?
What have you guys thought of the stream today? I thought it was a pretty good stream. I like to review the rumors, circle in. These mocks get more and more interesting every day. Getting closer to April, things start to get flipped around, and new players are mocked to new destinations, new trade rumors.
Oh, yeah.
I live for it.
Oh, dude, it's the best time of year, honestly. It's so fun. free agency and the draft and trades, like so much juice.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Telling you, I'm gonna just keep saying it. I think it's literally they're gonna go receiver and left tackle.
I mean, if you guys ended up with any combination of Freeling and Lemon or Freeling and Tyson or
Cooper.
even Lomu and Tate or something like that, a tackle in one of those top 3 receivers, that would be a huge win.
That's the move. That's the move. I guess I could see Tate being a Cleveland Brown.
I think Tate is the best one. Then I would go Lemon. Then I would go Tyson.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think
definitely fair.
I think Tyson has more potential than Lemon, but I think Lemon has a way higher floor.
Yeah, no, that could be true. I think you can't go wrong with those 3. I like Tyson a little more just because when healthy, like he's such a good receiver prospect.
But that's why I said floor, just because obviously Tyson has stockier, like he's faster, he's got the better receiver attributes, but
right
has the injury concern.
He does. He's had a lot of injuries, so that is a concern. But you could knock Tate as well. Like people don't like to do it, but he was a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Last year, Jeremiah Smith is the one of that team.
Yeah.
But he's got good hands. He's got really good route running. He's definitely a polished wide receiver. It makes it look effortless. It makes it look clean.
I think being a wide receiver 2 in college isn't necessarily the worst thing. If you look at some of those Alabama teams from a few years ago where they were just totally loaded, I mean, most of them all had good NFL careers so far. So
yeah, no, that is true. That is true. You gotta watch the film. But like I said, there's a lot of really good receivers in this draft here. So Cleveland's gonna get someone good. They can't mess it up. I hope.
yeah, I mean, the only way to mess it up would be to trade down and then do something stupid. But
yeah, or trade up.
yeah, trading up that would be pretty stupid too.
So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for us here today. It's been a fun time hanging out, talking Browns football. Like I said, we're going to do this every week. So if you want to be a part of it, subscribe. I appreciate everybody that shows up and supports the Dog Pound. Just being a fan, man. I love hanging out with Browns fans. So we know how it feels. Ups and downs, but I think there's going to be ups soon. So hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you all tuning in to the Browns Report Live. Let's do this again soon. You guys are awesome. And I'll have more Browns videos later today. So make sure to be the first to like and comment on it. Let me know if you came from the live. And I'll see you guys soon with some Browns content. Go Brownies.